So peace to everyone, and we're definitely glad to hear back from Sis Basir and Sirajuddin,
yes.
and continuing this discussion about the conditions inside of Indiana's Pendleton Correctional Facility. We know that when we last spoke, there were many issues as far as the conditions, as far as how this outbreak is being mishandled, and further abuses. And so since then, have been getting updates from Sis Basir as to what's been going on there, the issues around food, as well as just continued issues with spacing. And we know that there have been hunger strikes within this past week or so, and even involvement with the National Guard as far as the facility is concerned. So there's been so much going on since we last spoke, Sirajuddin. I'm wondering if you could just start us there with a general update. How are you, and what are the conditions like, especially since we last spoke to you?
Yeah.
Let's see. As far as the condition-wise, I'm gonna say everything's locked down except one unit, and that's what the unit they're making everybody work at. Work unit, but the whole prison is locked down.
Thank God.
They still feeding everyone breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They give you a sack lunch, 2 sandwiches, and a drink mix. There's no nutritious food. It's nothing, just bread and meat, basically, or bread and peanut butter, all 3 meals. Maybe I want to say it's probably a count. Maybe eight inmates have died here thus far. They had a ride, but it's probably about 6 people got to fight with the staff members down here. But it's not better. It's not getting no better. It's getting worse.
Oh God.
They're basically starving us down here, to be honest with you.
And you said
how's that impacted? I'm sorry,
no,
I was
please.
going to ask my son, how was that impacting you as far as with fasting for the holy month of Ramadan?
Man, it's a struggle. This is probably one of the worst Ramadans I've ever went through. It's a struggle. You do it for the sake of God, and at the same time, there's no nutrients, period, at all. They're supposed to give you some type of enhanced meal. They're feeding us everything. They're feeding all the rest of the inmates. So, an enhanced meal is supposed to be double portion. You're getting regular sex like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad.
And you said that the only part of the facility that is not locked down is the work area. What kind of work are they having y'all do during this lockdown, and with heads dying behind this virus?
They have the people that work the kitchen. You have people that work maintenance. You have people that work the yard. That's basically it. Just to run the facility. Certain people that help run the facility. You need inmates to help you sack up sack lunches in the kitchen. You need inmates to help you tend to the garden and cutting the grass or picking the trash up. You need inmates to help you take care of the maintenance, plumbing, heating, air, stuff like that. That's it. Besides that, there's nothing else moving. No law library, no gym. Can't give you no type of recreation. It's been over a month and a half, going on 2 months. No recreation. And no law library. That's it. We ain't seen a counselor out here. They're supposed to come see you every day. A counselor ain't been out here in maybe 2 weeks.
My God.
They don't care.
Well,
Literally do not care.
They're making that as plain as possible, and it just is despicable, and it speaks to the fact of prison slavery in such stark terms, to just allow this to go on and show so little concern for human life. So speaking to that, what about medical? Is there any? Are you seeing any changes to the complete lack of health care that you spoke to when we last spoke?
They started quarantine more, but they basically they cleared out one building with whole cell houses and throwing people in the cell. If they too bad off, they'll take them up there in medical and put them all in one dorm. But no, it's nothing that's changed. It's not got worse.
And have you heard anything or encountered anything around these hunger strikes that we've been hearing about? Is there anything with regard to that you would be able to speak to?
I'm not 100% sure about the hunger strikes because we don't have access to those other dormitories. We don't have access to the work unit, and I haven't heard anything pertaining to a hunger strike yet. But 9 to 19, if it's going on, it's either an H or G bill where they a hunger strike.
No doubt. And recently, within the past few days, it was on the 6th, if I'm not mistaken, another brother, another human being was gunned down by these slave patrollers. This was in Indianapolis, Sean Reed. I'm wondering if you had heard about this and if there was any response or how has their feeling about that occurrence on the inside where you are.
I saw it on the news, and I know some of his friends in here. You know, it's saddened a lot of these people because some of them knew him. A lot of the inmates knew of him, or some of them knew him from the street. But the brother who was he was ex-military, and the police shot him on a high-speed chase.
Yes.
Yes. It's saddening a lot of people here, a lot. There's a lot of brothers down here from Indianapolis, a lot of people in Indianapolis down here that knew of the brother.
So it's just another example of this same prison slavery that is costing us so much human life, and it really is, it's unconscionable. So what about this National Guard presence that we've heard about? Are they still present there, and what role did they have in all of this? Was this in response to the 6 or so individuals who were uprising to some degree, or who were responding physically to these overseers in there?
Yes, sir. And it was a response to that, and response to their short staff here. It's a lot of the staff refuse to come in because of the coronavirus. They feel this place has been exposed, so they don't want nothing to do with it. So they'll call off sick. They won't come in. Like right now, the National Guards are not actually working inside the prison, but they work in all the towers that surround the prison. It might be maybe 9 or 12 towers that surround the prison, and all of them are being occupied by the National Guard. So their presence is still here. They were for a couple of weeks, walking around the prison and doing things.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I put my hand over the phone because it's kind of noisy here.
No doubt. Appreciate that. So how about releases? Everywhere, here, where I am and everywhere that I'm aware of, there have been minimal releases of individuals based on this outbreak. Usually those who are either most vulnerable or have some kind of connections have been afforded releases of various types. Have you encountered any such releases where you are?
None. Not a one. And they keep giving you an excuse. They'll put a memo up saying you can write these people at a certain time or call these people at a certain time. The state public defender's office or whatnot, but they don't even pick up. So no one has been released. It's almost like a sham. It's a joke.
And given that there have been so many deaths at that one facility, how are they managing the public response to that? How are they getting away with basically in the public eye allowing for these deaths, basically, being responsible for several deaths behind the several likely very avoidable deaths, and just continuing to work people and not feed them and releasing no one? Have you noticed any ways in which they are managing the public image of what they're doing and how heinous their lack of response has been to all of this?
The only thing they're doing is locking us down. That's it. They have went from, they stopped the spread of everything, locked the whole prison down. The only people that's out, again, are the workers. So, that I guess they feel like it'll prevent the spread of the COVID-19. But if someone has any type of symptoms or anything, you're putting them around people that actually have it. So now you're putting this person at more of a risk for it. So now, and to be honest with you, everything we see on the news, it's almost like a cover-up. They're not even saying the actual people that's dying in Pendleton. They won't even show it.
So Sirajuddin, this is Scotty. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Greetings to you again. Just wanted to do some follow-up from the last time we spoke. So the last time we spoke, there was a veterans group, an outside group, who had made some masks, and one of them ended up testing positive for COVID-19. But my question is more related to like, are y'all being supplied with enough masks? What about hand sanitizer or just regular soap? And are they regularly, allowing y'all to disinfect the common areas? So can you tell us what that if any of those sort of protocols and your supplies are in place?
Okay, no hand sanitizer at all, period. They passed out one mask, which is like a cloth mask where you have to wash it over and over again. A soap, they might give every inmate here a bar of soap once a month. Disinfecting wise, they pass out chemicals. You have to disinfect your living quarters yourself. But
what type of chemical?
As far as hand sanitizer, be honest with you, comes in a clear bottle and it's green. That's all I know. They don't give you bleach or any
right
real disinfectant. It's just some green type chemical they mix up.
That's kind of similar to what I heard in another report about they were giving the inmates some kind of blue stuff, and so the CDC has put out guidelines that said that any disinfectant, including hand sanitizers, but surface disinfectants, has to be 70% alcohol based, or if you, like you just mentioned, it has to be so many parts of bleach. So you're saying that they're not giving you anything that's based on actual elements that are used for disinfecting, and they're giving you some kind of green solution?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. It's the bare minimum is that, so they can say, okay, well, we did give y'all soap. It's ridiculous. It's almost like they're trying to not prevent it, but trying to help spread it. This place is sad, man. Seriously, it's really sad.
It sounds like that's exactly what they're trying to do.
What's the testing situation like? Cause we heard a recent report out of the federal detention facility in Brooklyn, in New York City, and what we were hearing is that they are destroying medical records to hide the number of positive cases, so they don't have to provide medical treatment or, you know, just to hide the fact that they have so many positive cases. Our inmates are. Say that again, Siraj.
The only way you can get tested. The only way you can get tested down here is they send you to an outside hospital. They're not testing in this prison at all. Period. If you have symptoms, they'll quarantine you for 2 weeks, and if they show worse, then they'll send you to an outside hospital and they have to test you. By then, these folks dying.
Well, that's what we heard from New Jersey as well, from the Department of Corrections, that they're basically not testing anyone until they are so sick they require hospitalization, so potentially on their deathbeds before they even test them.
That's exactly what's going on now.
Tag.
Yeah, so given your experience with these kinds of carceral spaces, with these prisons, and the fact that, you know, as is mentioned in the campaign page, where heads are helping to raise funds to, you know, fight this wrongful conviction, it speaks to your encounters with these prisons, especially at a young age. How does this moment inside of Pendleton compare with your other experiences with these kinds of prison plantations?
By far the worst. I know this is sad to say, but I got locked up at an early age. The first time I was 15, and I was with a friend of the family, and he was kind of wild. And we was on our way, I think, to a mall early one morning. He pulled the gun out, robbed some people on the train, and they locked us up. Now, I had nothing to do with the robbery. And when I got locked up, they said the robbery was the same type of robbery that happened, so they could put almost like 3, maybe 4 other robberies on me. And I was wrongfully convicted of those and sentenced to 20 years in Georgia prison. Now, dealing with that and dealing with the fact that my mother was wrongfully convicted when I was a child. So it's almost like they snatched my mother from me, and then years on down the line, it got worse when I was wrongfully convicted. As far as the living situation down there, it was 10 times better. Medical-wise, respect-wise, as far as the staff, you'll actually be able to get something done. Down here, it's almost like it's racially. The whole thing is racial. If you're not a certain skin color, you're not a certain type of inmate, you're not with a certain type of charge, they tend to cater more towards the guys in here that's locked up for child molestation, just heinous crimes dealing with children. Their population is more of that, so they cater to them, and they literally make time worse. I have never experienced nothing like this at all. It's sad. It's sad. As far as me being wrongfully incarcerated down here, it's pathetic. It goes from the judges, the detectives, the DA, everybody. I came out here really on vacation. I might have been wrong for trying to help somebody get out of the city of Atlanta because he was facing another charge up there, but we was on vacation up here. Nobody got shot, nobody got harmed, nobody got killed. We was riding around the car smoking weed with a local drug dealer, and I'm sitting here in prison now for attempted murder with no gun in the car. The judge told me at court, well, my officer found a gun up under your leg in the car, and they got the whole traffic stop on body cam. There's no gun, no weapon found in the car. He told me one of the reasons I'm finding you guilty is because there's a loaded 9mm handgun up under your leg in the back seat of the car. It was pathetic.
Yeah, and about that though, who was the so-called victim? Okay, now if he found you guilty, even though, like you mentioned the last time we spoke with you, law enforcement basically testified that y'all didn't do anything wrong and they had followed y'all, to the restaurant, watch you eat and stuff before they pulled you over. So if there's an attempted murder charge, there was no victim.
There's no victim. No one came to court saying I pointed a gun at them. They see me with a firearm. I threatened their life. No, it was just one DEA agent and 4 detectives that was after the local drug dealers and was like, well, we believe he was up here to kill somebody. We believe. There was no physical evidence. It was just officer opinion evidence.
So, but wait a minute, Sirajuddin. So, but still, because, for example, the Tiger King, which you probably haven't seen because of where you are, there's a murder for hire plot. This guy was charged with attempted murder because he was hiring somebody to murder one of his rivals in the big cat business. So Carol Baskins would be named as his intended victim. Who was named as your intended victim?
I never seen him. I never got his name at all. They said something about a confidential informant's number.
A confidential informant. Okay. Wow.
They said it was a confidential informant, and they put his what's called a snitch number up. They never seen a picture of the guy. I never knew his name. I never knew a nickname at all. Period. He never came to court. He never testified. It's no victim. And they're trying to say I was being driven past his house for a minute and a half, and then went to a restaurant and ate. But a DEA agent gets on the stand and says, well, 2 to 3 weeks prior to y'all locking them up, me and my co-defendant, the confidential informant came to them and said his life was in danger, so they moved him out of town.
So he was never even there. Okay.
At all. There's no gun in the car. I don't understand this at all. I don't.
Well, I understand it. The system is corrupt. And it's, and some people would say it's designed to do exactly what it's doing, but a system is only as good as the people in it. And apparently, you had the misfortune of getting some of them corrupt people that's just looking to put somebody behind bars.
Unfortunately. It's another thing. My co-defendant's lawyer put in certain motions, and they OR'd him on the same charge, on his own recording, so it's like a signature bond. And I got sentenced to 35 years for it. I'm trying to get these same motions that his lawyer put in to go with the new things I'm entering to the court now. And I've been trying to get it for a month and a half. They've been lying to my mom, lying to the counselor. They won't send it. They wrote me back saying it's public records. You're going to have to pay for the records. I sent them a check trying to get these records, and these courts still won't send it because they know this is show and prove that, 1, my lawyer was ineffective, 2, that what y'all did was wrong. You wrongfully convicted this man for nothing. All you had was an officer telling his opinion, giving his opinion on something. No physical evidence, no circumstantial evidence, nothing.
Sirajuddin, do you have an attorney, or is that what the fundraiser is for, to hire an attorney to handle your appeals?
The fundraiser is for to hire an attorney to help me with appeal. The attorney I had at trial was a guy named William Hawkins. That
ineffective. I'm sorry, son. Ineffective. Very ineffective.
Ineffective, exactly, Mom. He literally did nothing. He looked at me through the whole trial. But my mama and everyone has been trying to help me raise money to get a lawyer so I can get my appeal in. It's sad.
Sirajuddin, not trying to cut you short, son. Could you tell Brother Scotty and Tag what this lawyer literally said to you, leading to your wrongful conviction? Do you recall what he said to you?
Oh, he told me I had a Muslim name. He was like, where you got a Muslim name, you have a past conviction.
You have 1 minute remaining.
You're an African-American man in Indiana. They're going to find you guilty regardless. You're going to have to go down the road and appeal your case. He basically gave up before we got in the courtroom. His phone's going to hang up. Thank y'all. Thank you, Brother
Love
Scotty.
you, son. To be continued.
Love you too, Mama. Inshallah. To the other brother, I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care, and I hope I answered all the questions I can as best as possible.
To be continued.
Absolutely.
All right, peace to you, brother. Be safe.